Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with the lowdown to discuss Madam Web. I may not be as enthusiastic as I was on the preview because we've just watched the movie and
Disappointed.
yeah, it's a major disappointment.
I can't say a major disappointment because I wasn't thinking it was going to be some 10 out of 10 movie, but I didn't think it was going to be dang near unwatchable like it was.
It was unwatchable. So if with it being unwatchable, what did we give the rating beforehand on what we thought?
I thought it was going to be like a 6. I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
And
6, yeah, 6.5.
And 6 is actually bad. So after watching it, where are we at right now?
Probably in the 4 to 5 range.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah, 4 to 5. 3, 4, 5. I mean, it doesn't really matter. This is pretty bad. So, director C.J. Clarkson, she directed this. She also directed Defenders. So she has some knowledge of the Marvel Universe. She has some knowledge of just even...
This will be like her second time doing like a team-up film/TV show for Marvel. So...
Where's the disconnect?
Coming into this, you would think that she would do well because the Defenders wasn't really that bad at all. I couldn't say all of their solo shows were better than the Defenders, but the Defenders, I still wouldn't say it was like a 3 or 4. You would still think that she would create something solid, but I don't really think Sony really threw her anything.
Don't say all of them. Remember Iron Fist.
Okay, that's the ugly duckling. We'll just leave that out.
You said all of them. The Iron Fist was terrible. But okay, so Defenders, she did pretty well.
Yeah. But with all that being said, I really can't say Sony really threw her anything, even with, the Defender success. Because she's given all new characters, and she's given not the same type of cast at all. The Defenders, I'm not going to say a star-studded cast, but they was balling.
That's what you just said, that was an all-star cast.
It was a great cast.
You got Dakota Johnson, 50 Shades of Grey, Sweeney, Utopia, Euphoria, Whose Story, His Story, whatever. The mother two, I don't know. But
I never said they were all-star cast.
But the Sweeney was supposed to, in your preview, Sweeney was supposed to, this was put butts in seats.
She didn't hold up. I see where I went wrong at.
You see where you went wrong?
Yes.
Sweeney.
She looks good.
Yeah.
I was expecting more from the acting. Could have been the script, but I don't think it was. None of them was really acting for real. So I can't really blame Clarkson for this because,
dude, I think it was the script.
I think it was both. I think she could have got some better work, but I'm pretty sure if they helped her out on the back end, we wouldn't be really talking about her so much.
So Ace, we've given this movie a 4, 5, no higher than a 6. Yeah, we're in the 4 and 5 range. What makes this movie so bad?
Let's really start off with the acting. That's probably the elephant in the room.
Okay.
It's god awful. It's terrible. It is cringeworthy at some points. Acting isn't good from any character. I think Ben Parker wasn't that bad. Yeah, his acting was good, but from your 4 main characters, I can't really say anyone really popped off. Maddie Franklin, played by O'Connor, she was supposed to be like your rebellious teenager. She didn't really. It wasn't really hitting on anything. It was just all cringy and just like you were looking at. I'm in high school. I know what high schools look like. I'm like, high schools don't act like this. It just doesn't. It didn't work. And then when they tried to have their emotional moments, I didn't think they were that bad. but it was just the acting wasn't very good at all. Ezekiel, when we talk about forgettable characters and villains, he might be at the top of the list.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Ezekiel.
He didn't do
Which
anything.
is the main villain of, in case you guys don't know, Ezekiel is the main villain in Madam Web, and he is trying to kill everyone.
All three of the girls.
All three of the girls, because he has a premonition of them killing him. And so he's just trying to go ahead and end it, kill them before they kill him. Which
he does not succeed. Somehow, they slowly jogged away from him, and he doesn't catch him. He's got all these powers and couldn't catch him. His scenes when he doesn't have the mask on, he's supposed to be some menacing guy. But again, the acting, I don't believe he's a bad guy when I look at him. There's nothing, it's not believable. I'm not sold on it.
He's not a killer.
I'm not sold on it.
I'm going to tell you one more thing that I got from this. And I haven't seen the comic books, but I was like, this is a direct ripoff from Star Wars.
How?
Annie does everything he can because he has these premonitions about trying to save Padme, right?
Yeah.
But he's actually the one that causes her death. So for me, Ezekiel, he has this premonition of his death.
But if he just left them alone.
If he leaves them alone.
None of this probably happens.
None of this probably happens.
That trope has been done in more movies besides Star Wars. But,
this was just too, it was obvious. And they didn't
technically they succeeded in doing it.
But they didn't sell enough in the movie as to why he was after them. Like, they didn't do enough in terms of him being a bad guy. And saying he just saw his death. Like, his death
even when
turned him into a bad guy. He had done, like you just said, nothing about him was sellable as a bad guy in terms of he's done this, he's done that. He went to Africa.
When he killed her mom, that was pretty.
Oh,
he did kill a whole pregnant lady.
He did kill a pregnant lady.
That was pretty bad.
Did he have the premonition before or after he killed her?
After he got bit by the spider.
After he got bit by, did he kill her?
No, after he got bit, he had killed her already. That had already happened.
Okay.
But it was just.
Well, it's still pretty close.
That was his best scene.
That was his best scene.
But
yes, him going after them without no real knowledge of what is going on just seemed a little Star Wars to me in terms of.
But Star Wars did it way better.
They did it way better. But he killed himself. You know what? Probably a lot of time it's not their fault. It's the casting fault. So when we look at Dakota Johnson, I think we've seen some interviews. Don't quote me. We can fact check it. She wasn't really versed in the Marvel or any comic book. Like, she was just hired to do a job. So if she's not invested in it, then, what kind of delivery?
None of them had any prior experience, but I saw an interview with Sweeney. She seemed pretty invested in her character.
Seriously?
And she seemed like she enjoyed playing her.
Research?
Yeah.
She researched her.
Research. Well, I'm not sure about like extensive research, but just the entire look and like aesthetic of the character. She really wanted to nail it down. And all of the characters like mannerisms. Even though we didn't get to see her in her Spider-Woman form for that long, which was one of the worst things about the movie. We got to see them in the future be spider people, but in the present sense, they were never that. And they were just kind of helpless the whole movie. That was one of the worst things.
So let me ask you this. So when we think about the comic books, for her point of reference in getting into character mode, and she's thinking about being Cornwall, in the comic book, is it a lot of time being Cornwall, or is it a lot of time being Spider-Woman, in which when we look at the movie, she spends a lot of time just being the normal person, that where she has to try to figure out.
It was too much origin to where they didn't. As the movie got later on and later on, I'm like, man, they're not spider people yet. They're not spider people yet. I'm like, what are we here for? I didn't come here to see them in normal clothes the whole time, be damsels in distress and run away the whole movie. So when we see her, she's normally always Spider Woman.
And so with that being said, if she's really trying to get ready for this role and she's excited, is she excited about being Cornwall or is she excited about being Spider Woman?
It looks like they filmed like
is it Spider Woman or Spider Girl? Or
Spider. It was Spider Woman, and it looks like from the interview, she was talking about being Spider Woman. I wonder if she knew that she wasn't gonna get as much time. I wonder if she knew that.
There we go, right there. So she came in and was like, "I want to be Spider Woman," and they was like, "No,"
because it really looks like they filmed a lot of footage for that, but they only used it for, and for when Ezekiel looks into the future and sees, oh, they're gonna beat me up at some point. That looks like that's all the footage went to.
All right. So let's talk about Ezekiel and his purpose in the movie. So it's bad because we know Ezekiel is chasing down 4 women and he wants to kill them. But we don't know anything about him in terms of what makes him a killer. We know he killed her mother. He was chasing her. We don't even know why did he need that spider?
I'm pretty sure it's just, he knows that it gives him powers.
Okay, and he's ready to kill for it.
And he's ready to kill a pregnant woman for it. We don't know why he is this way. We're not given any background on his character after that.
Before that.
And then we just cut to 20 years later. He's in the bed. He has a dream. And then he manipulates an FBI agent to track down these girls. That's what his screen time consists of. Not a very good villain.
Yes.
And this also adds... We can kind of tie this into pacing. Because for 2 hours, I feel like this movie feels kind of long. I don't know if that's because of just how unbearable it is. Right? But it doesn't feel very long. It feels very long. And it just feels like it doesn't get... It's just nothing really happens.
Because again, Ezekiel is here and he doesn't serve a real...
he doesn't serve a purpose.
He doesn't serve a purpose. He definitely killed her mother. But if he doesn't pursue them, Johnson thinks that her mother just died in the Amazon on her own. So it's not enough to make him come out and pursue these women. They tried their best, but it just wasn't
menacing action enough. And the whole thing was at the beginning when we see that he kills her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We take like 40 minutes until we see him again, and he has a dream, and he's like, "Man, we gotta hunt these girls down
because they're gonna kill me."
And then the sudden big twist that doesn't really help with the pacing at all is when she finds out that she has to go to the Amazon. So we're dead in the middle. I think things are starting to go, and then all of a sudden, she goes to the Amazon, which I feel like completely kills all the momentum of the movie.
So I don't have a problem with her meeting up with the girls and convincing them, that they should follow her. But after she convinces them to follow her, she takes them to the woods and dropped them off. Those 3 girls don't know each other. They don't know her. How do you figure in any real life situation that you can just get 3 girls within 20 minutes to just hang out in the woods and they don't know you and you just leave them? How does that even sound like you're even protecting them if you're not there with them?
This is when I kind of started thinking about, was it the script or was it the acting? Because, yeah, the acting during that entire montage was terrible. But if I was an actor, I'm thinking, man, why are we in the woods right now? What are we doing right now, man?
Why are we in the woods?
She dropped us off at the woods.
In the woods.
If her plan, if your writing is trying to make her look as dumb as possible, then I guess you're succeeding. But I know that wasn't the point of that. She was genuinely trying to protect them, and it wasn't done very correctly. Now, of course, they go and sneak off, which is fine, I guess, while she goes back to her apartment.
That was so cliche, because the first thing that I thought was she is trying to convince them of something. They don't really trust her. They don't know each other. She just put them in the woods. I was like, they're not going to stay there. You're going to come back to the woods. They're not going to be there.
Oh, no, they're gone.
Like, why do you even think that when you came back to that they were going to be there? Like, what?
It was dark outside when she came back.
Even going back in the dark, how do you even get back to the same spot? That, like, is that her spot? Is that where she normally travels and visit? Like, how does she know even where she dropped them off at? That was terrible.
So yeah, that wasn't very good. Her going back to her apartment and looking through. I don't know if you remember when she tries to climb the wall.
Cool.
And she falls down.
I do remember. Was that comedy?
It was supposed to be. It wasn't very good.
Wasn't very good.
It was terrible. But that was just a short little thing, so I can't really blame them too much for that. When they get to the diner, them trying to get on the table and dance around, that's them trying to make it look like they're just doing regular high school stuff. That's never ever happened. Ever. High schoolers don't do that.
But again, to come from the woods to just go to the diner and just everything is normal. It was this is bad. Yeah, might be bad acting or bad writing.
It was a combination of both. It wasn't very good. I will say one positive. When she does get there, the entire scene of her trying to rinse and repeat on how to beat Ezekiel, I don't think that was that bad at all.
Okay.
She tried to go in there and beat him hand to hand. She got stabbed a couple times. And then eventually she just like, let me just hit him with the car and let's leave.
Okay.
So that wasn't that bad. But then, right after they escape, she literally does the same thing she does when she tries to leave him in the woods. She tries to just leave him in an apartment or take him home.
She
takes a whole... That really caught me off guard. She took an entire flight to the Amazon and just left them for a week. It was a week time jump in the middle. And they stayed at a random man's house.
I did not know that was a week.
It was a week.
She left them for
a week at a man's house they never met one time.
Well, she left him at Ben's house.
They don't know Ben.
Yes, that's true.
They don't know Ben. And that was all supposed to be built off of, remember when they're staying in a motel? That was supposed to be their character development because they stayed in a motel for a day. So now they're supposed to be lifelong friends.
Now they're good to go. And so, yeah. So in case you guys don't know, when we talk about Ben, we're talking about Peter Parker.
Uncle Ben.
We're talking about Uncle Ben.
This takes place in the early 2000s. So they're all young. But yeah, they spent one night in a motel together. And now you can just leave me at a random dude's house.
And I'm going to go to the Amazon and leave you when there's somebody's trying to kill you in the city. And I'm going to leave you. But I rounded you guys up because I want to protect you. But now I'm about to leave you for a week. Make it make sense, America.
She goes to the Amazon for a whole week. And it's just, she learns about her powers. And then she comes back, the girls are still safe. And then conveniently when she comes back, boom, he's back as well. And then we get to the terrible fight scene. But the movie it feels slow. Her going to the Amazon completely kills all of the momentum that they had going up to that point. And all of Ezekiel's screen time just slowed the movie down and just didn't give us anything. They didn't give him a lot.
So I remember sitting in the movie theater with you, sitting beside you, and when she falls in that water, I remember you looking at me once, a couple minutes, and was like, how did you know? And I was like, well, it has to happen at some point. And I was like, her falling in the water, some doggone fireworks falling in her face. I don't know how that paralyzed her, but I was like,
It was a long fall, man.
She fell in water.
Dude, people, you can break something by falling in the water.
Yeah, but
She fell off a building.
That building wasn't that high.
It was pretty high, man.
It's not.
It was a warehouse.
It's not spine tingling.
It was a warehouse.
Paralyzing.
It was a warehouse.
Fall. Have you seen Born Identity? He fell off a building. He's not paralyzed.
She's not Jason Bourne, though.
But she just failed. It was just water. She got paralyzed and blind. That was bad writing.
Me trying to save the movie.
I
didn't think her going blind was bad because she got hit in the eye with fireworks. That's acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, when I saw her in the wheelchair, that really threw me off. I was like, dude, how did she get in the wheelchair? They ain't even set it up because we just watched X-Men First Class. They made, when he got paralyzed,
he got shot in the back.
They made that a big deal though as well. That's how they dang near ended the movie off with that. He's like, I can't feel my leg. Dude, they got her out the water. She didn't say anything about I can't feel my legs or nothing.
But remember, when she fell in that water and when that hit her in the face, I said, she is now Madam Web. And you're like, what? I said, some kind of way they're gonna tie falling in this water and that in her face is gonna paralyze her and blind her. I was like, this is terrible. This is awful in terms of this is what creates Madam
That
Web.
wasn't paralyzed worthy. I'm not okay. I'm okay with her going blind, but
I was
her getting paralyzed.
But I knew the paralyzing was coming with it as well.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good. But no. To just continue with that though, let's just talk about the fight scene in general. The finale.
I don't even remember the fight scene. Oh,
it wasn't really. When he caught. Scene.
Yes, we talked about it a little bit when we first came out of the movie. You said, "Don't tell them too much," but yes,
the fight scene from when she gets back, and it's not really a fight scene, but we're just gonna say the finale when they run away, and it's just. I just don't understand how he's supposed to be so powerful and he can't catch 3 people running away in a warehouse with some fireworks.
Guess what? He is so powerful. Everything about Madam Web and the previews shows that it's Ezekiel against 4
spider people,
superheroes.
He couldn't win against 3 teenage girls.
Who doesn't even display any power in this movie. So the previews, the trailer, when they show us Spider-Girl, Spider-Woman, Spider-Lady.
I think that is...
We didn't see that.
That is what makes the movie so bad.
That is.
They try and tell you something and it's completely different. And not in a good way at all. We've been bamboozled.
Ooh, we've been led astray.
Yeah. The whole movie, I'm thinking... We're gonna get to see some spider people, which from besides the spider movies, the Spider-Man movies that with Tom Holland, we don't get to see any spider people. So I was like, I'm happy. This could be not good, but I get to see some people swinging around. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen.
In your preview, you said that Sweeney was the best. I don't know what that word is.
The most comic accurate looking.
The most comic accurate. And we saw her for every bit of 2 seconds being that character.
And it wasn't even in the present. It was in the future. It's in the future. It's
and
all in future visions.
Yeah, it's just her. She didn't do anything.
That's probably the worst part about the movie.
They
try and sell you something that is not at all.
That is the worst part of the movie.
Because they used all of those clips in the trailer of them being spider people. So we think it's just going to be all throughout the movie. But no, those were just actually all their clips. I saw what they tried to do right there.
What?
All of their scene as spider people, they just use it in the trailer to make you think it's a big part of the movie. But that's actually all it was.
It's not even a part of the movie.
That's all it was.
It's the setup for maybe the second movie. But I promise you,
they're not getting the second movie.
There's not going to be a second movie. There's not going to be a second movie. They just showed them what it would look like if we were to make a second movie. But in this movie, they serve no purpose but to just be damsels in distress or just some young teenagers that need adult supervision. And that's not what we signed. That's not what I signed up for. That was just we thought we were about to see Spider-Woman. We thought we were about to get some comic book accurate action and acting.
That's not what we got.
That's not what we got. We got to see. We just got a lot of
nothing.
It's just wasting people's time. But the actors, I know they made money. I know somebody made money, but nobody actually put time into saying we're going to make just something for the people, something for
I
us.
feel like they knew this was going to fail from the start.
And I'm sorry, people. Like we are fans, and I know a lot of our posts we just keep coming and we're just talking about bad. We just need somebody to get something right. Like we're tired. We're tired of being disappointed and bad. We actually want to give you great comments on why we love what we watch. But right now, actually, I'm going to say this. I know it's Sony and I know it's Marvel. Sony might actually just be trying to sabotage this thing at this point because this is not making sense. I can't remember
the last time Sony's given us anything good. Morbius, Venom 2. I wasn't gonna. I that's why I said 2. I had to clarify 2 because Venom 1 was solid, but then we're thinking Carnage is supposed to be in it now. It's supposed to be better, worse. It got worse.
Mm-hmm.
Sony we're just giving them good characters, and they're just wasting
them. Yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of remakes or what you call it, not recasting. What's it called when you just got to start over from scratch again?
Well, this is the Sonyverse. They're not restarting anything because
Sonyverse.
It doesn't really matter for the Sonyverse. This is all. It doesn't really matter.
So here we are wrapping it up. Madam Web. We're ranking it at 5. Sony. We got to do better. We're not here to bash every movie. We love the Marvel content. We love the Marvel universe. We love all the characters. We just need you guys to do better. They need to step it up. They got to step it up. They got to step it up.
We got to step it up in terms of, I can't say directors because the lady, she's done good work for us before. CJ. But the acting wasn't there. We got to do better on that. Just all in all, Marvel has kind of been on a downward slope recently, and we're trying to get it together this year. So,
and let's name Sony. Morbius,
not good. Venom 2, and now this one. But let's not forget, Sony was in charge of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies. Those should have been a lot better than they were as well. Mm-hmm. So I can't even really say Sony disappointed us because they've never really been better than just below average. So, in a way, this movie still kind of kept up to our expectation, and we knew it wasn't.
I was excited.
We knew it wasn't going to be great.
I actually thought, when you start talking about that cast and Sweeney and Johnson, I was excited about it. But here's the deal. I'm going to keep being excited about it, and I'm going to just keep being excited and wait for the disappointment. So that also lets you guys know that I'm not coming, when we come in, we're not coming already predetermined that we're about to tell you about a bad movie. Every movie, I'm excited about it. Are you excited about it?
I was excited.
We're always going to be excited about it. So stop, Sony, Marvel, stop with the disappointment. And until next time, we'll see if we're excited or disappointed. The Lowdown, we out.